So I was asked the question the other day about what about those projects that don't necessarily make sense to everyone? And the other part of the question was, what ratio of times is that the case? And in my experience, I'd say, frankly, most of them. Because even if it makes sense to certain people or a certain team, there will still be people within that team who, let's say, have a start with a different view. And certainly when you look across functional lines, then almost certainly a project that's focusing at that point on the sales process, for example, may not necessarily translate as something that finance would be interested in. And a lot of that goes down to the concept of framing, so positioning the change in a way that makes it more relevant. If you think about the human body, right, the kidney can't exist without the heart and lungs as well. If without those, kidney dies as well, right? It's the same in organizations. Everything is interconnected. And often what I see is that the change itself is focused on one specific aspect of the process or one specific system, CRM, for example. And in the end, it's not really about that, is it? It's about what the organization ultimately is trying to achieve, back to common purpose. So the more you can take that and relate it back to where the organization's going overall, and also why it matters for the teams that are not necessarily directly involved. Because in some way, if you take it big enough, you take the conversation big enough, it certainly will. So if you're struggling with that scenario, with a particular team that's not getting on board, that has a different view, then consider ways that you can broaden the conversation and make it more relevant to them.